U prošloj emisiji gledali smo prvi dio reportaže s druge međunarodne znanstvene konferencije o bosanskim piramidama. Održana je u rujnu 2011. u mjestu Visoko, u podnožju najveće piramide na svijetu, a u njoj je sudjelovalo 20-ak znanstvenika i istraživača iz 10-ak zemalja. Šetnju kroz drevnu povijest, pa kroz svijet bosanskih piramida, kao i kroz tunele ispod njih, nastavit ćemo i danas, ovdje, na rubu znanosti.
I'm honored to present to you Dr. Samir Sam-Kosmanovic, Professor of Anthropology and Principal Investigator of the Bosnian Pyramids Project.
Dr. Riccardo Bred, arheolog iz Italije, diplomirao je na Univerzitetu u Veneciji, došao nam je u goste prošle i ove godine radio istraživanja na bosanskoj piramidi Mjeseca, a predstavio je rezultate radiokarbonskog ispitivanja organskog materijala sa piramide Mjeseca.
We have a structure that is basically very similar to megalithic structures, but in a way stands out because you have various different layers. It's not simply built out of big blocks, it's built out of layers. And one after the other, by studying them, we're slowly understanding how the structure was incredibly planned and manufactured. It's really amazing. I think it's 190 meters tall. It's really, really wide. The main face, which is the western face, is the one on which the excavations have been carried out the most, and on the plateau, which is on the top. It's not a pyramid in the sense of the Egyptian pyramids. It has the shape and it has a flat top on the top. Also there have been excavating, and the results, yes, are quite astonishing because personally it's the first time that I encounter something made in this way. It's really complicated and advanced.
Dr. Riccardo Bret predstavio je radi otkrića iz jame broj 20, na kojoj se radi već 2 godine, a koja se nalazi na piramidi Mjeseca.
On the Pyramid of the Moon we found basically 3 types of organic samples. We found a mixture of leaves and branches which were inside the thin clay layer that covers the bigger stones. Then we have a carbonized area which gives us the possibility to state different hypotheses, but it's very complicated when we're talking about carbonized wood because it can mean so many different things. The last part instead is it's the wooden poles that are visible. The samples we've been studying are the first type that have been sent to the institute in Poland. The results are quite particular indeed, because it turns out to be that this thin layer in particular is 10,000 before Christ. It's dated to 10,000 before Christ, and it's quite a particular date indeed. And the fact that this thin layer is attached on top, it can either mean only two things, or the whole structure is of that age, or the structure under, maybe it's even older.
Razdoblje od prije 10 do 12 tisućljeća možda skriva sjećanja na najdramatičnije događaje u povijesti ljudskog roda.
10,000 before Christ means that we are, first of all, at the end of the last ice age, the Worms Ice Age. We have a major disappearance of the megafauna on the planets, we're talking worldwide, and other quite particular coincidences, like the fact that, according to some scholars, the last closest supernova from our solar system exploded, and the fact that Plato himself states that Atlantis disappeared 9,000 years before him, so more or less around 10,000, 11,000 years before Christ. And if we do want to follow that hypothesis, and we have to take into consideration that actually it was only after another 1,000 years that agriculture was capable of coming back into practice, let's say, and not by chance. I'm talking about floodings and universal floodings, Bible. The agriculture returned not on plains but at higher elevations. So when we're saying 10,000 before Christ, I didn't openly say it, but personally I think this could be the proof again that something happened back then, and something that erased a civilization that was worldwide expanded. And Bosnia and Visoko, this valley in particular, could be a strong evidence and could get us to be closer and closer to the truth. During my degree, I had actually in particular studied the significance of the Genesis and the Bible, so therefore also that whole worldwide catastrophe. And on personal interests outside of the degree, I went on analyzing these different aspects that occur in many parts of the world at the same time. Even in Australia, for example, there are geological evidences that around that time something happened, and the myths itself of the Aborigines, for example, from Australia, say they talk about a massive flooding, and so appears on South America, for example, and some text also in China. So there is something about maybe an archetype idea. When we could see it from an archetype idea of a flooding, water purifies. It could be a practical reality. Something happened, a catastrophe, a major catastrophe. So word by word, humanity was washed away to return. It could be seen in a more archetype way as men had to be purified to return to knowledge. Or we could see it even in a scientific way. Something happened which in the memory of man remained as a global disaster, and it just remained over the centuries in our knowledge, because it's not by chance that it appears everywhere in the planet, this idea.
A jama broj 20 tek je počela otkrivati svoje tajne.
The conclusions basically are that, first of all, the Sonda 20 is exceptional in its type of structure, and it's really hard for me to believe. Every time I go there, I'm like, no way, this can't be natural. You can state any type of example, and often happen to me of people like commenting on, for example, the report that had given out to the foundation last year. And I'm sorry, but the photos and examples they give to me were not enough they were different from what Sonda 20 is. There's just way too many details. Channels, galleries, wooden poles at equidistant 30 centimeters, clay layers with organic, there's so much stuff. So to me, first of all, Sonda 20 is artificial. Second, considering it all in all, it's not a limited area to itself. Somebody just decided to build a little drainage system there. You know, it's part of a bigger thing. It's part of a structure. Either we want to call it pyramid or we want to call it megalithic structure. The conclusion is the same. It's something man-made. And the third point, finally, thanks to the clay layers on Sonda 20, we have a dating for the Sonda and probably therefore for the whole structure, for the whole pyramid of the moon.
Evo nas na 180 metara od ulaza, raskršće, lijevo jedan, desno drugi tunel. Čistili smo prije godinu i po dana ovaj tunel i nakon nekoliko metra došli do nove raskršnice sa vrlo lijepim suhozidom. Neko je napravio ovaj suhozid da zagradi 3 podzemna tunela. Ovi su tuneli trenutno zatrpani, ali ako se uvučemo unutra, sa lijeve strane jedan tunel, a sa desne drugi. Ovo je tačno ispred mene, još jedan tunel. Ovaj zid zatvara 3 bočna prolaza. Mi smo došli koristeći ovaj prvi, dakle 1 plus 3, 4. Lijevo od mene 5. bočni prolaz, a skroz u desnu stranu i 6. bočni prolaz. Došli smo na raskršće sa 6 prolaza. Visina svoda na ovom mjestu je oko 2,5 km. Ovo je do sada najveća raskrsnica. Što se dublje uvlačimo u tunel, on postaje sve razgranatiji i kompleksniji. Obratimo pažnju na ovaj suhozid. Na prvi pogled sastoji se iz riječnih oblutaka, lijepo slaganih jedan na drugi. Tamno smeđa boja. Međutim, kad malo očistimo, vidimo da ima bijelu boju. A kada ga presjećemo na pola, on sjaji. Ovo je komad kvarcnog kristala. Već smo konstatirali da megalitni blokovi su dijelovi mehanizma koji generira elektromagnetno polje. Kada se elektromagnetno polje, kada udari u kvarcni kristal, dobivamo takozvani piezoelektrični efekat koji generira ultrazvuk. Na ovom mjestu ultrazvuk je 31 kHz. Mi možemo da čujemo sa našim slušnim aparatom od 20 Hz do 20 kHz. Sve preko 20 kHz je ultrazvuk. 31 kHz mi ne možemo, ali životinje mogu čuti. Interesantno je da od prvog dana u ovom podzemnom kompleksu nismo našli nikakve kosti životinja, a ni danas niti psi, mačke ili lisice ne ulaze u podzemni labirint. Čini se da je neko stvarajući ultrazvuk stvorio i branu ulasku životinja u ovaj prolaz, čuvajući ga samo za sebe. U ljeto 2010. godine pronašli smo prvu podzemnu komoru u podzemnom labirintu. Na daljini od 220 metara od ulaza ušli smo u komoru koja je visoka 4 metra i ima površinu od 50 kvadratnih metara. Ona se sastoji od 8 bočnih prolaza. Drugim riječima, ako imate nešto veličine vrlo komfortnog dnevnog boravka, postavlja se pitanje koja je bila svrha ovoga mjesta. Jer su ljudi, odnosno bića koja su ovo izgradila, dolazili sa 8 različitih pravaca. Ovdje smo mjerili koncentraciju negativnih iona. Kao što je poznato, oni ubijaju viruse, mikrobe, bakterije. Ali istovremeno i čiste naš organizam i našu krv. Na ulazu u tunele koncentracija negativnih iona je oko 1000 kiloiona po kubnom centimetru. U Sarajevu, u Zagrebu, u centru Milana koncentracija oko 200 do 500. A na ovom mjestu 43.000 kiloiona po kubnom centimetru. 50 do 100 puta veća nego vani. Drugim riječima imamo neku vrstu podzemnog liječilišta. I ne samo to.